Hi, welcome to Franklin Heat, the show that takes you behind the scenes of the Franklin Fire Department. I'm firefighter Jeff Boggs.
And I'm engineer Wiley Jones. We're pretty excited around here. Something new has just arrived.
What's that?
You don't know? You haven't heard?
I don't know. I'm sorry. Maybe you can give me a hint.
Well, it's pretty big. It's red, lights up, makes a bunch of noise.
Okay, right. I got it. The new Ladder 4.
That's right. And today, we're going to have engineer Jonathan Gill, who is stationed at Station 4. He's going to give us a demonstration on how that truck operates.
And that's going to be pretty cool. And then after that, we're going to take you on a good old-fashioned Franklin Fire Station tour out at Station 4, where this new truck is going to be housed by Lieutenant Rick Cotton.
And today, starting right
now. Yeah.
We're going to introduce you to the man responsible for Ladder 4, Battalion Chief Todd Horton. How are you?
Fine, Wiley. How are you doing?
Welcome to the show.
Chief, thanks for coming on today.
Jeff, thanks for having me.
We're going to ask you some questions about the new Ladder 4. So what type of truck is it? Manufacturer and Quint, aerial?
New Ladder 4 is a 75-foot custom aerial ladder built by Suffin Corporation out of Abilene, Ohio.
Okay.
Now, custom truck, exactly what do you mean by that?
Well, there are basically two types of trucks you can get in the fire service, commercial or custom. Commercial means it's a commercially available chassis that is used for most over-the-road transports. Custom means we design the truck from the ground up, and it's built by the manufacturer from the ground up to suit the needs of the fire service.
Okay, so this is a brand new truck. It's got to meet all the new requirements. What new safety features or upgrades does this apparatus have on it?
A few things that this apparatus has is increased compartment space to haul more of the fire service equipment that we have. It has an enhanced lighting package that makes safety a priority for our people, and it has a lot of other behind-the-scenes safety features in all the drivetrain and the motor and those kinds of things that meet the EPA requirements and other things that have come along in the past few years.
With that said, what considerations are given when purchasing a fire truck? I'm sure all of those come into play.
There is a lot of considerations, some of which is the area that it's going to be responsible for protecting. The size of houses, the size of commercial properties, where its closest available backup units are located, and so forth, are some of the factors that we consider when we design a truck for a particular station or response area.
Now, I'm sure it's way different than going to buy a new car off the showroom floor. So what's the process for buying a new fire truck?
Well, the first thing we have to do is get budget approval. So we ask for our budget request in the normal budgeting process that occurs each year before the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, and they determine what we will and will not be able to spend in the current budget year. After they approve the purchase, then we develop a set of specifications. And depending on the truck, those specifications can be 60, 70 pages long. And within those specifications, we basically design everything that we would like this truck to offer us for the service that we provide. After those specs are developed, we work with our purchasing department to go out to bid on that truck. And we solicit bids from any manufacturer that wants to partake in the bid process. We select the lowest and best bid that meets our specifications. Then we award that contract to whoever the local vendor is that received that award.
Chief, why do we need a new fire truck?
Well, there's lots of reasons that we need a new fire truck, but I'll try to relate to some of our viewers that may be out there. I reckon it to like an automobile. You don't buy one automobile in your lifetime. You typically buy an automobile. Sometimes you start out when you're 16, you buy your first car,
Sure.
Maybe a hot rod, something of that nature, but it's not practical for once you have a family. So as time goes on, the car ages, you have a family, you decide that you need more room or more space within the automobile. You also may want to incorporate more safety features because now you have the lives of your wife maybe and your children that you depend on. You also have aging components within the vehicle that require repairs to be made that can become quite expensive, and sometimes you just get to the point where you're putting more money into the automobile than you're getting out of its usage. As well as parts get older and older, they get harder to find. And so you have to do a lot of aftermarket parts that may not be as reliable as the new manufacturer parts. And so some of those things are what we look at when we buy a new fire truck. In addition, we also have to concern ourselves with the amount of fleet that we have to cover the services and what happens when a unit goes out of service for repair or some other reason, what can take its place and operate and fill the need that we have without leaving us in a void.
Gotcha. So we get budget approval, we pick the fire truck. Once we order it, what's the time frame from the time we've ordered it to delivery?
Well, it really depends on the type of truck that we order, but this particular truck, for instance, usually takes about a 9 to 10 month process from the time we order it. Now, the reason that is, it only takes about 3.5 to 4 months to actually build the truck. But unlike an automotive plant where they're running hundreds of cars on the line a day, a fire truck manufacturing plant doesn't put out but a couple of trucks a week, depending on the fire manufacturing truck. So we're usually in line waiting for our truck to be built for 5 or 6 months before they even start on it. That gives them an opportunity to order all the parts and make sure everything is in place when the production actually starts.
Chief, once a truck is received here with the city or at a station, are there any additional piece of equipment that needs to be installed? Anything else that didn't come from the builder?
There sure is. Typically when we buy a truck, we buy it to be built to hold the things that we need to carry to fight fire. So after the truck arrives, we'll have to put the fire hose on it. We'll have to put all the mounting brackets for all the hose, the adapters, the appliances, those kinds of things, and add in our chainsaws and our other emergency equipment, pike poles, ladders, those kinds of things in order to effectively do our job.
And talking about safety features, I even saw where the fire helmets now have their own brackets that they have to stay in.
They do. That's a new National Fire Protection Association requirement that everything that's mounted in the cab must be mounted in brackets so that should an accident occur, there's no objects flying around that can cause injury to the firefighters who are riding in that apparatus.
Gotcha.
Good news.
Now, Ladder 4 will be housed at Station 4, I assume?
It will be, which is located in the Fieldstone Farms subdivision out on the north side of town.
Chief, are we expanding our fleet with this truck, or are we replacing a vehicle? What are we doing with it?
Well, in a sense, we're expanding and replacing, but we are replacing the existing Ladder 4. It was a 1997 model that is now going to go into our reserve status, and this truck will be the frontline apparatus to take over that particular response area.
I have a 97 Nissan.
Oh. It's in reserve or still
Daily
being used?
operation.
Now, will this replace, or I'm sorry, will this be the only reserve apparatus that we have?
It's not. We actually also have a reserve engine company as well.
Okay.
This allows us now the opportunity, before when a piece of apparatus went out of service, everything, no matter it was an engine or a ladder or a tower, it was always replaced by an engine. But you prefer to have something that replaces something of like functionality. And so having a reserve ladder now gives us the ability to replace a ladder with a ladder.
Gotcha.
Of course, the big question, price. How far did this set us back?
Well, these trucks certainly aren't cheap. In this particular case, this truck was $745,000.
Nice.
It's a little more than a 97 Nissan.
It's about half the price of my house.
Now, what kind of vehicles make up our fleet?
Well, we have 4 engine companies, we have 3 ladder companies, and we have 3 tower companies that are all first out apparatus. In addition to that, we have 2 fast medical response vehicles that are Tahoe type vehicles, and we have a medium duty rescue, we have a hazardous material response vehicle, and we have a brush truck, and then an assortment of staff and chief officer vehicles.
Chief, I already know the answer to this, but maybe we can fill in some questions for the audience. Is there any required training in order to operate this truck? Or
Absolutely. When the vendor delivers it, one of the requirements that we have is that the deliverer spend at least 1 day per shift training those who will be directly responsible for driving this particular piece of equipment. And they go over all the safety features and how this particular truck operates, from pumping to running the aerial ladder. The good news for us is that we have many of this same brand of truck within our organization already. So many of them, it's just a matter of getting familiar with the new technologies that are available with this particular apparatus.
Now, when you were naming our fleet, you were referred to engines and ladders and towers. Can you explain the differences in those companies?
Absolutely. Engines are our basic firefighting apparatus that has our pumps on it, our water tank, and our hose, and it travels with people and equipment in order to do the basic firefighting. Typically what we use for our car fires, our dumpster fires, and usually it's our attack pumper, which means it's the one that they pull the initial hose off to go inside of a structure fire and fight a fire. Aerial ladders, in this case we have 2 different kinds. This particular truck, which is what we refer to as a stick, has an aerial ladder that goes up in the air 75 feet, but it does not have a bucket on the end of it. And so you can ascend and descend the ladder, and you can spray water from the end of the tip. The bucket truck, or the tower company as we call them, actually has a bucket in which firefighters can stand in. And those firefighters can not only stand in those buckets, but they can haul additional equipment up in those buckets, as well as use it to rescue people from heights that they otherwise can't get down interior stairwells from. They'll rescue people from those upper floors using the bucket.
Chief, as you know, on June 1st, we had a wet down ceremony at Station 4. It's been a tradition in the fire service for a very long time. How did it go?
It went excellent. The participation was overwhelming. The particular subdivision out there in Fieldstone Farms is very supportive of the fire station there, and they usually come out in large numbers to support us anytime we have these events, and this was no exception.
Well, thank you very much, Chief, for being on the show. And we're going to take a short break. And after this, we're going to go to Jonathan Gill, and he's going to demonstrate the new Ladder 4. We'll be right back.
Hey, Dan, what are you working on there? Ah, working on your home fire escape plan. Very good. Well, let's take a look here. Well, you want to get out by the most direct route, Dan. How's about something a little more like this? Now you have 2 ways out of each room. What about your smoke alarms? Is that the only one you have? Dan, you should have working smoke alarms in every bedroom, outside each sleeping area, and on every level of your home. They should be interconnected so that when one sounds, they all sound. Test alarms monthly. Good job, Dan. Now let's give it a shot. Dan? 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 Calm down, Dan. Execute the plan. Good job, Dan. This Fire Prevention Week, take the time to check and make sure you have working smoke alarms and make a family escape plan. Don't be a doofus. Learn more about Fire Prevention Week at firepreventionweek.org.
Welcome back to Franklin Heat. Now let's go out to the training center where engineer Jonathan Gill is going to demonstrate Ladder 4 for us.
Good afternoon, my name is Jonathan Gill. I'm an engineer with the City of Franklin Fire Department, currently on Ladder 4 out at Fieldstone Farms. Today we are at the training facility on Century Court. I'm here to show you the new features of our new ladder truck that we just took delivery of. Okay, so obviously it's a ladder truck, so guess what? I've got a ladder on it. Ladder's got a couple of capabilities of doing 75 feet on the ladder truck, and that's from the ground to the tip. We can flow water. It carries 1,000 pounds at the tip. Obviously, if we're flowing water, we're going to reduce that, but we can carry 750 pounds at the tip with water flowing. I can flow anywhere up to 12 to 2,000 gallons out of the nozzle that's on there right now. The waterway is remotely controlled, so I can stand off of it at a distance and able to control the nozzle over the fire by approaching on foot and have a wireless remote in my hand, which allows me to directly put that stream where I need to have it. Also, a unique feature on the truck is it comes with an onboard generator, which allows us to do normal household current up to 220 volts. This is essential because generally when we come to your house during a fire, we cut the electricity, so we do need the ability to have our own electricity, and we're able to generate that by having an onboard generator. If we look down at the bottom here, we have the newest style drain valves, which are with ease, 2 fingers open and close them, whereas the older trucks had what was similar to this valve over here, a quarter turn valve, and was just very hard on the hands. These ones here are the newer design. Obviously modern technology allows us to open and close those drain valves without a problem. As an engineer at the City of Franklin, there are some primary responsibilities that fall on that engineer. Obviously, first of all, is making sure that his crew goes and arrives back at the station safely. He's responsible for that crew while they're on board the truck, because he is responsible for the overall of the truck. Another thing operational wise is he's got to supply those guys with water inside the fire. He's able to maintain that water and give them whatever additional needs they need. On a ladder truck, obviously another supplemental thing would be obviously to get the ladder to where it needs to be positioned to where they can do their job as far as the rescue, or maybe even ventilating a roof. Another unique feature that came with the ladder truck, we have the ability to put our helmets in holders now. This is a requirement. There should be nothing loose in the cab, so obviously our helmets were a big problem as far as being loose. So the truck has come with helmet holders that allows us to secure our helmets so that we don't have any debris flying around in the cab if we were involved in an accident. Another thing is also the SCBAs are put in the back of the seats, are also capped off and held in place mechanically until we pull a release that allows those bottles to come out when we need them, and they sit in the back of the seat so we can put them on during transit. Every seat in the truck is monitored. We have the ability to seat 6 people, including the driver, 6 people in the truck, and each seat is monitored, so that tells me whether or not you have your seat belt on, and all of this stuff is actually recorded onto a computer drive, onto a black box if you want to call it, that allows it to be pulled if we have a wreck, that we know whether or not this person was belted and what was exactly going on inside the cab at the time of the accident. Another unique feature about the truck is the light bar system that comes with the truck is called a power arc, and just like a normal arc weld, this is highly intense light. They're LEDs, but all of the lights actually move. This generates awareness with the general motorist, general public will actually see these lights a whole lot more effectively than the old rotary style lights we used to have. The truck comes with a bell on the front of it. We have several trucks that obviously within the last couple of years have been ordered, and the bell comes with it. The bell is generally a parade item. We don't use it during an emergency run, but however, the bell goes back to fire department traditions. When the bell gets rung, obviously a tone will drop type of thing. So we back with the bell on this one, and it's a nice showpiece. It looks good on the truck, and I'm sure that a lot of the guys are happy with it. Once again, Jonathan Gill here. I appreciate you spending time with me to take a quick tour of our new piece of apparatus that's been added to our fleet. We're very proud of our new fire truck. And if you want to come by and see it, Station 4 is the place it'll be. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Jonathan. Now, every year more than 1,000 people come through our fire stations for tours. If you haven't had a chance to come through, Lieutenant Rick Cotton is going to show you through Station 4 out in Fieldstone Farms. Let's go to Rick Cotton right now.
Welcome to Franklin Fire Department, Station 4, located at Fieldstone Farms. My name is Lieutenant Rick Cotton, and welcome and come on in with us for a station tour. So here we are in the kitchen. This is where we cook our meals. From time to time, Buford Moth will make us pancakes, and we love pancakes and French toast. We also enjoy hamburger steaks, potatoes, and things of that nature. And of course, we love the public stopping in bringing us treats. Station 4 is our home away from home. So because we work a 24-hour shift, we do get to sleep. This is where it all happens, in our sleeping quarters. This is our office. This is where we receive our calls from dispatch on this radio right here. After responding to a medical call or a fire call, we come back to the station, and on this computer here, this is where we do our reports, just like Sean Williams is doing now. You might be wondering why this is plugged in. The reason is simple. Because we have computers in our truck, this is why we plug it up. It will keep from draining the batteries. Maintenance is important on our trucks. Here at Station 4, we do minor maintenance, just like Sean Williams is doing now. We also have fleet maintenance to do the major work on our trucks, so our fire trucks are ready to go for that next call. Here's where we keep our firefighting gear. It normally takes us about a minute to get fully dressed to respond to a call. Just like maintaining our vehicles, we keep our bodies in shape as well, that we're operating ready for the next call. This is our workout facility. This is where Kirk is working out to keep our bodies in top shape. Well, it looks like breakfast is ready. After a day of training and responding to calls, we find time to sit back and relax and watch our favorite show on TV. Thanks so much for dropping by.
Thanks, Lieutenant. Well, Jeff, that wraps it up.
All right. Well, for more information, you can go to our website, which is www.franklintn.gov/fire, and there you can access our Twitter handle and our YouTube channel. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time.